Okay. All right. So she used this pail analogy where, oh, I can't find my notes now. Where'd they go? There they are. Where, okay, so a new consultant, they start and they've got like their pail and they're going along and they're finding people who are interested and they're putting the people in their pail and they're like, this is so exciting. And their enthusiasm and their excitement is carrying them along. And then they get to 5 and then all of a sudden they realize there's a hole in the bottom of their bucket. And they're like, oh, whoops. And this hand goes from doing this to doing that and putting their hand in the bottom of the bucket, which means they can't be putting new leads in. I had heard an analogy like that, but I'd never seen it like that. And of course, now seeing myself do that makes me realize, yeah, I need to exercise and lift my weights and not do that in front of people. But anyway, she said basically 1 out of 10 people who get off to a strong start will become a director. 4 out of 10 will settle out around 2 shows a month, and 5 will leave. Mm-hmm. So if we as directors are only sponsoring 1 new consultant a month, we might get 1 strong person per year. We should be recruiting absolutely no less than 2 people per month. And we should be promoting 3 directors a year. And, you know, and if we've got a team that isn't selling, the answer isn't, oh, I've got to train and motivate these people. Probably, you know, it's the 4 out of 10. Mm-hmm. And so our focus should be on stronger starts and getting more people into the funnel. And then, so she said, where would you be if you promoted 3 directors this next year? Mm-hmm. And here's something that she said that just really blew my mind. Okay, so we all know that if our consultants go to a show and their main focus is sales, that's usually our newer consultants. What do they get at those shows?
Right, sales.
Sales. But now, then after a few shows like that, they're like, oh, but wait a minute, I need future business. So if they go to a show and their main focus is bookings, what do they get at those shows?
Bookings, yeah.
Bookings and?
Sales.
Yeah, it's because, yeah. Okay, so now they move along and they say, okay, now my main purpose, I want to recruit. What do they get at those shows?
They get their leads.
Leads and bookings and sales. What if our main purpose at our show was to find our next director? Yeah. To look at that really, really, really sharp person in the room who could knock it out of the park. What do you think we'd get at our shows?
Yeah.
All of the above.
All of the above. We're going to get the sales, the bookings, and the recruits, other leads, but we're also probably going to find some sharp people. Yeah. So she talked about, you know, Pampered Chef has 3-2-1 success plan. Her 3-2-1 is, she put it on a sticky note. She's very kind of low tech. 3 bookings, 2 recruit leads, 1 director per show. Boom. That's what she looked at when she went into the show. Okay. So when you're working with people, show them the big picture right away during the interview. Start them strong with 2 parties a week. Set the expectation that they're going to bring people to the sales meeting. Oh, somebody said, what do you say if they ask you, are the sales meetings mandatory? She said she just looks at them like they're insane and says, well, of course, how else are you going to learn how to do the business?
Right.
Yeah. And then just waits to see what they're going to say.
Right. Only if you want to make money.
Yeah.
Is that what she said? Only if you want to make money.
But I like that she says, how else do you think you're going to learn the business? And then waits for an answer too. I mean, that was, yeah. And then, yeah, how else do you think you're going to make money? Sets the expectations that they're going to bring people to the meeting. She says each consultant is allowed to bring up to 3 people to each meeting. And she says she starts them off with their mom, their sister, BFF. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was strange, but she said, but then I thought about it. Who do we want to get on board?
Yeah, that's their support network right there.
Yeah. So those people come and then they see this is a real business. Wow, okay. There's people selling, there's people making money at this. And now those people are going to become support people. And recognize what you want repeated. She said the biggest prize she gave away at her meeting was the Bring a Friend prize. The only way to get your name into that drawing was to bring 3 people, and you couldn't bring the same 3 people month after month. Mm-hmm. She also said, she goes, oh my gosh, when she got hired again, she went to some sales meetings and she said nothing made her cringe more than to have a director go on and on and on. And so, like, it's a full-time job with 18 kids and she sold $318. She's like, recognize what you want repeated, and set the bar high. Sell directorship at every single meeting. She did a visual where, someone had a certain number of sales. So she held up a just 8.5 piece of cardstock that said, here's how much she made. Well, then she had a thing like what she would have made had she been a director with 5 people on her team, or 10 or 20 or something like that. And it just showed the income potential. The raffle, only way to get in it was to bring 3 people. She did a mini business opportunity event for the first 15 minutes of every meeting. It wasn't just for leads. Everybody saw it, so people got recruiting training there, but also the leads got information that they needed. Then she did a bigger sort of standalone opportunity event quarterly, usually on a Saturday morning. Someone on her team who was good at making out invites would make out an invite. They'd make sure every consultant had it, would give them a challenge to print it out, and just everybody who was a no at a show got an invite to come to one of the quarterly things. And give them an invite or two and say to the no's, in case you bump into someone who might be interested in learning more. And each guest is allowed to bring up to 2 people.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was interesting because I'd never kind of worked it that way before.
Yeah.
And then the last thing she talked about was a promote out show.
Yeah.
And the idea is to help someone become a director in one night. You can do it with team leaders, senior consultants, and she says she's even done it as a grand opening for someone who's really super motivated and had a need to promote right away. And she actually had people who promoted in 30 days. So you create the invite, and it says something like, I'm moving up, come help me celebrate, see new products, shop for upcoming events, door prizes and snacks, bring 2 people to get a prize, date, time, location. And that was, again, an aha moment for me. Just like we put on the survey slip, put the name and all that contact information at the bottom, put the date, time, location at the bottom so that they read through the rest of it to find out. Ding, ding, ding. She said she only does this if the people are really, really wanting and working for it. So in order for her to say, okay, I'll do a promote out show for you, because I think this is the one thing she doesn't get paid for, they need to have 8 shows on their calendar. They need to be doing 2 shows a week. They have to work closely with her, a weekly call with her. They have to agree to mail, email, Facebook, text, and call each person that they're inviting, 40 or 50 or more, and aim for at least 15 in attendance. They have to agree to set up the kit display, and they have to agree to have a poster board with their next 2 months' calendars and dates that they want to book. She says she shows up 10 minutes ahead. They mingle for a few minutes. Then when everybody sits down, time to get started, the consultant thanks everybody for coming and introduces us as the director. We just, kind of gush all over them, say how proud we are of this new consultant and brag on their accomplishments so far and the fact that they're on track for a promotion coming up pretty soon. And I'm going to share with you how you guys can help make sure this promotion happens. If you know of anybody, if any of you know of anybody who loves to entertain or adores our products, here are the dates that she needs to fill. And she has them up on that calendar that they made on the poster board. Her goal is to fill these highlighted dates over the next week. And by the way, you can fill one of them if you want. And then she hands everybody in that room a Join Us brochure and says, if you know anyone who would like to make a full-time income from part-time hours or needs a fun and flexible income, or maybe someone who would love to get out of daycare costs, I'd love to give you some information to give to those people who might be curious. She hands them all a Join Us brochure and walks them through it briefly, and then does a brief Q&A. And then she says, I bet most of you know someone who might be interested, or maybe you yourself are interested. And then she turns to the consultants, so, hey, Sue, when would you like your promotion to happen? And Sue says, well, right away. And then she turns around and says, okay, then those of you who are interested will want to get started right away so you can be part of Sue's promotion team.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
be part of Sue's promotion team. I mean, it makes them a team atmosphere right away. It's not.
And
Yeah, it's not-
we all know that when there's more than one consultant in the room, something magical happens. I mean, we always get recruit leads. It almost doesn't even matter what we say, but the fact that they see that we're not alone, that there's support, it's a real live person who seems very nice. And here they are seeing that, wow, her trainer will do this for her, so I bet my trainer will do this for me,
Right.
you know? And she'll help me build a team. Are you kidding? She'll help me fill my calendar. Wow. And she always uses that backdoor approach of do you know somebody, which, you know, doesn't put anybody's family and friends on the spot.
Mhm.
So that's everything in a really big, huge nutshell. And that was just the stuff that
That Julie did.
Yeah.
I have a question. Was this a one-day thing that you guys went to, or was it a couple days?
2
It was
days.
an overnight thing. They also had people from the home office that came in from the test kitchen, and we made all the plant-based recipes. Other people trained as well. I'm telling you, I've got like a half a page of notes on everybody else who spoke. You know, just little tips and tweaks. She got up there. I could not stop writing.
Wow.
It's just like, oh my goodness.
Was this held at the home office?
Nope. It was just put on by Nancy Joe.
No, Randy. It was
Randy.
put on by
Right. Randy. But
Randy pulled in Donna McDonald, Nancy Jo Ryan, and who's the lady that did coaching with me?
oh yeah.
Um,
So there were some really big guns there, which was really nice, and it was this
Wow.
group. I think only about 30, 35 of us there.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But
Huh.
it you know, so to be able to go up and talk to them afterwards to ask
Yeah.
clarifying questions
Mhm.
and everything was just really, really amazing.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
You know what? You just got everything we did, so
Well, thank you.
yeah, it saved you lots of money and time. But
You're the best.
but I wanted to like go home again. I felt like a new consultant. I want to throw everything away. You know?
Yeah.
You know, 1 or 2 new things a week. I started with I'm a consultant and recruiter with the Pampered Chefs and the changes to the full service checkout.
Yep.
Mhm.
Now I'm changing my show opening. Now I'm adding the three morning after calls and the month after calls. And let me tell you, for my a couple of my directors are like, yeah, you work with that for a while. Let me know how it works. But for a couple of my directors who are like, this is great, and they're all doing it. Let me tell you, the number of leads is and the number it's really,
Yeah.
again, it's no more time. We're already there. It's just a little different.
Yeah.
And if we can get our team saying that they're recruiters as well, again, it just yeah.
Yeah.
So now, you were there, Sue, and Debbie. Anything that I missed?
No, you were very, 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 very thorough. I want a copy of your notes.
Yeah.
she rewrites her notes on the plane. It was awesome. Like she was retyping up her notes while we were on the plane so that it was fresh and organized and all of that. That was really good, Karen. You did a good job.
I don't usually do that, but this was just like, I'm so blown away. I feel like that's what I did when I was brand new, when I was
Mhm.
at the conference.
Guys, I've got to jump off because I have new consultant training in 3 minutes. So and they should be getting here. So I've got to go. But thanks again.
Thanks,
Have a good one. Talk to you soon.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, I think that you totally touched on everything that Julie said. I thought that was really good. I thought that Darla Ullman, that's the other lady, she talked about the differences between coaching and being an automatic telling machine. You know, ATM, you're always telling them what to do. Coaching, you're asking them and helping them to make the ideas their own, which I thought was really good. And Grace, Julie and I did a call together, and Grace has been implementing that same coaching atmosphere. So I've been trying really hard to not be the automatic telling machine and actually asking, so what are you doing? What have you tried? And then asking, like Darla said, permission to keep them accountable and permission to give them advice. You know, would you like to hear some other suggestions? You know, and then if they say yes, then you say, here's what I thought. How about we have an action plan? When would you like me to follow up with you? So I've actually started doing that, and I'm seeing progress. So that was really good. And the last 2 days, I've been having coaching calls left and right. So that's been good.
I just thought of something. It's not in my notes, but I went to, I actually had my monthly coaching call with Julie like 2 days after we got back, which was great. I got to kind of let the ideas settle in. So we were talking and I said, okay, Julie, 10 to 3, really? You built an organization that large, working 10 to 3, no weekends. And she said, yeah. And I said, you got to tell me what your day looked like.
Yeah.
So she said from 10 to noon, every day was her personal business. The first thing she did was make the 3 morning after calls and 5 to 10 of the month after calls. That took about 15 minutes. Then it would, whatever she had to do, mail out host packets, host coaching calls, whatever. And she was always she would always tell people, I work between 10 and 3. What's the best number to reach you at?
Yeah.
And she said she really got most everybody to talk to her in that time frame. If people worked full time, they usually had a lunch break or coffee break.
Mhm.
And she tried not to take up too much of their time. But she just didn't even offer them evening or weekend hours. If they say, oh, I work full time. Oh, do you have a coffee break or a lunch break? I won't keep you more than a few minutes.
Wow. Ballsy.
Well, do what you want. That was a big aha. When I talked to her, she was like, I said, well, maybe I'll just offer 1 Saturday a month. And she looked right at me and she said, Sue, if you do not want to work Saturdays, stop working Saturdays.
Right.
Yeah.
If you work a Saturday, the people at that show are going to want to book on a Saturday.
Yeah.
So, and I mentioned that to my husband, and my husband was like, well, why wouldn't you work a Saturday? I go, because you're home on a Saturday. I'd like to go hiking and snowshoeing and go to the beach and like be a real person. I would like to work Monday through Friday. And like, that was even new to him. Like he couldn't even grasp that. And I'm like, no, I'm going to work myself out of weekends.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't work weekends, and we've talked about this, and I started doing the whole daytime number thing. I don't even know how long ago, but it's the same thing. It's setting your expectations. Give me your daytime phone number. That's what I tell them.
And when she explained, oh, I'm not going to keep you more than 5 to 10 minutes. Do you have a coffee break or a lunch break? People weren't like, oh, I can't believe she just did that. They're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because it didn't occur to them. It didn't occur to them.
Wow.
And then the other thing, so that's the first 2 hours. Now noon to 3 is her team. Now she had a large team. She picked a Fab 5.
Mm-hmm.
She would work with quarterly, 1 hour. They each had 1 hour coaching call. So each day there was one person she was coaching out of the Fab 5 for 5 days a week for 1 hour.
Is this in your notes too, or should we be writing this?
No,
okay.
this you want to take notes on.
Hold on.
Okay, so the Fab 5,
Yep.
you have to apply to be one of the Fab 5 because she's got a big team. If you want to be one of the Fab 5, here's what to do. Show me that you've got 2 parties a week on your calendar. Because she says, guess what? If they don't have 2 parties a week, they don't need an hour's worth of coaching.
Yeah.
You know, they need to just fill their calendar. They need to be coming to sales meetings. They need to be in good contact with you. And they need to have a goal to promote in the next 90 days because that's who she wanted to spend the most time with.
Yeah.
So 5 people, 1 hour for 90 days. They didn't get her till the end of time. They've got 90 days of working very, very closely with her. So come on, we got to get this job done. Then the other 2 hours were 15-minute calls for other people. For someone who says, I want more for my business, but I've only got 2 parties a week on I've only got 2 parties a month on my calendar. I'm working to fill it. Okay, you can have a 15-minute slot. And she said, and never mix up training with coaching. When you're working one-on-one with someone, it's coaching. Don't train them. You've got train like, oh, I can't get bookings. Well, here's a little mini training on bookings. No, direct them to where to find that information.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the coaching call is, okay, so you watched this training or you listened to this video or you
What did you get out of it? What are you implementing? What are you finding?
coaching for 15 minutes and then getting them to develop their game plan.
Right.
So people could sign up for 15-minute slots. She said some people were once or twice a month, every other week for 15 minutes. Some of them were 15 minutes once a week, depending on where they were, where they wanted to go. And those Fab 5, she said generally 3 out of the 5 would promote within 90 to 120 days.
Wow. What's
And
this lady been all my life?
I know. But and I don't know, but it was funny because when she first started working with when she was hired by the Home Office, she sent out an email, would any directors in all of this person's downline like to work with her? And I was like, yeah, pick me. I think I was the first person who responded because she wrote me back and said, Did I even take my finger off the enter button? So I got in her calendar right away, and then all of a sudden, and then other people, like she was like, who wants to talk to me? Who wants to talk to me? And I'm trying to tell my team, your directors in the downline, jump on this. And then I didn't have time. I'm like, you are kidding me. Jump on this. Now, all of a sudden, she's done a few of these retreats.
Yeah.
Now there's a waiting list.
Yeah.
Wow.
Guess what came out? A little email.
Yep, requirements.
Yep, there's requirements now to coach with her. You have to be committing 2 parties a week. You have to be signing at least 1 recruit a month and be aiming for more than that and wanting to promote 3 directors in a year. And so if that's not what you want, you're not on her calendar. You can talk with her, but you're not getting one-on-one Julie time. Yep. Get the monthly calls that she does for all directors. So now the bar is set.
Mm-hmm.
If you want her time, these are the main. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this was a really bad time for my calendar to fall apart because I had all these grand opening shows because I hadn't yet implemented her new idea of getting paid for them. So I look like I'm submitting 4 or 5 parties this month because 4 parties were grand openings. And so I was sure I ended up in 6 days pulling together like a spring fling show. Where I had a goal to book 6 parties in April because I'm like, clearly I need 12 in the books every single month. If, it's just, otherwise doing 8 or 10, it just slips too much. And we still get snow. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that anymore.
So as soon as I was done my spring fling show, and believe me, it was like my goal. So I booked 5 live shows for April, a fundraiser for April, 2 catalog shows for April, and a live show in May.
Wow.
And I emailed her my results. I said, I saw the requirements, but even before those requirements are out, I wanted to let you know it's because your ideas are working, and now I'm going to do them the way you said, but I just want to let you know, here's what my April calendar looks like. Please don't kick me off. But all of a sudden it said, well, it gets me acting this way instead of just, well, I mean, then if people want to coach with you, but then again, I'm like, I need to be as impactful in my coaching as she has been with me.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm working with Karen and my business is changing. Well, keep up these requirements or you're back to the 15 minutes. So that was just a tremendous aha. And she said, and you know what, Karen, if you don't have a Fab 5 right now and you have, a Fab 2, then it's 2. And it spend extra time recruiting. But those 15 minutes, you don't give, she says, really keep them to their 15-minute calls. They've got to earn to that Fab 5 spot.
So that was my next question. If you don't have the Fab 5 or whatever, but I don't have anybody right now who's consistently doing 2 parties a week. I have some that are doing, 5, 6, 7, but no one is consistently doing 2 parties a week. So obviously I need to maintain those standards. So it would be obviously, coaching the new people as they come in, and then still putting it out there that this is what I'm going to be doing.
Well, maybe saying something like, starting next month.
Right.
I just learned this new program. I'm so excited. I'm looking to work with 5 people very, very closely. These 5 people are people who want to promote to director in 90 days, who are willing to do 2 parties a week. And you know what? If you don't have the 2 parties a week right now, what if I handed them to you? Would you be willing to do them? Maybe something like that, just to see who might be interested. And then they've got between now and then to get the parties in place, and maybe having that deadline of, I've got to get those parties in place.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
I wasn't a very good coach. I just told you what to do again.
Yeah.
So Julie, what do you think you can do?
It's hard to move into that mindset. I really have to put stickers up and do that because that is not natural to me at all. That is my hardest thing, is how to make your phone call, your 15-minute phone call, coaching.
Right.
Yeah. But the thing is, when I'm being coached, like when I started talking with Julie, she started with well, Karen, what do you think? I said, Julie, I want to tell you something. I am so shocked that I'm not a national executive director by now. I don't even know why I'm not. I said, but if I knew what was missing, that what I should be doing, I said, usually it's because, if someone isn't where they want to be in this business, I said, there's 2 things that could be wrong. Either they're doing something not quite right, or they're doing something not quite enough. And I said, if I knew what I was doing wrong or what I wasn't doing enough, I would have changed it 8 years ago. So I don't know what to do, Julie. I want you to put a set of eyes on my business, and I don't want you to sugarcoat anything. I want you to tell me what you see, tell me what I can change, and I will follow you blindly. She's like, oh, I'm going to love working with you. So I think I tend to give the answers because that's what I want when I'm talking with someone. If I knew the answers, I would be off and doing them already.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm not a procrastinator. I don't let fear get in the way. If it's uncomfortable, I do it anyway. But I just been like, tell me what to do. So I think, but yeah, we've got to recognize that not everybody is that way.
So,
And then if I give them an idea and it doesn't work, then it's my fault instead of.
right. I have to go. This is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all this.
I have to go too.
And I will post those notes.
Let me just ask you a quick question, if you don't mind me asking. How many people do you have total in your organization, and how many directors do you have? Do you mind sharing that?
I'm around 275 for people in the organization, and of course, just like 49%. I think.
No, of course. I'm just curious, like general size of a team, for levels and that kind of thing. Okay.
10 directors.
And how many
directors?
What's that?
What did you say for directors? How many?
10,
10. Awesome.
but not in the 6-2. I've got. That's
Right.
right.
Yeah.
Say that again. They're what?
I'm 4-4-2 or something.
Gotcha.
4-5-2 or something like that.
Okay.
So I need some more first gens. But I'm telling you, things have changed a lot since
Yeah.
Wow.
I started implementing this.
I heard David did an awesome job last night. I got immediate feedback, so I can't wait to watch that. One of the girls from David's training last night, she was like, oh my gosh, I am thinking so differently than I ever thought before, and I cannot wait to go out today.
And when he started doing this, he went out and in 2 days got 6 recruit leads.
Yeah.
In a couple of hours, just because he went, he does out and about recruiting.
Right.
Not just, oh, I happen to have a good waitress, so I'll mention it. This was go out with the mindset, because I need
find.
to do
Right.
this. I need 3 people on my team. So, yeah, and I'll post that link too. So let me
Awesome.
put that on my
Thank you.
I'm posting
So,
those.
okay, so before we wrap up, next week you guys are gone, correct?
Yes, on. Won't
Okay,
be on.
so back on the 17th, yes?
Yes. I can't be. I have my Julie Aldridge call at 11 that day. So
Okay.
I don't. But,
Oh.
But everybody else is good for the 17th at 10:30?
So, and then every time someone talks to Julie, they have to recap here, okay?
Yes. That's recap. That's right. That's right. All right.
All right, well, thank you so
for all of
much.
your time.
Yeah, and have fun in Punta Cana for us and drink for us and all that stuff. And,
Talk to you
Well,
soon.
thanks, guys.
thank you. Take care.
Thank
Bye.
you.